Hey, Ethan Wolf here. I just wanted to do a little bit of a different video today. I'm going to go through my CD collection, specifically my rock and pop CDs I have in my collection. So let's just get into it. So before I get into my CD collection, I just wanted to mention that there's a few CDs in my collection that don't have their original cases. Instead, they're in these thinner CD jewel cases. Those I had been given by my brother. He had gotten those at a yard sale. So unfortunately, they have the original discs, but they don't have the original cases. So for my CD collection, I store my CDs in the Stock Your Home stacking CD trays. So they're very nice. They just open up like this. And I've got 3 of them right here, and they work very nicely. So I organize all of my CDs alphabetically by artist. Unfortunately, my copy of All Things Must Pass by George Harrison is just slightly too tall. It should be on the second shelf, but I have to put it on the top because it's just a bit too tall. Great CD though. So beginning alphabetically, I have 10cc Deceptive Bends, Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic, ABBA Gold, Arcade Fire, Funeral. Then going on to my Beach Boys CDs, we have Pet Sounds in mono and stereo, Smile Sessions, Sunflower and Surf's Up, Feel Flows, the Sunflower and Surf's Up sessions. Then finally we've got the very best of the Beach Boys, Sounds of Summer. Next we go on to my Beatles CDs. Help, Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's, Magical Mystery Tour, the White Album, along with the Escher demos, Abbey Road, Let It Be, and then finally, Beatles 1. That is it for the first row. So going on to the second shelf, I have Chuck Berry with The Great 28. Next we have Black Sabbath, We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. And this is one of the ones I was talking to you about. This one does have the original cover, but not the original case, and the original disc in there. Another one of those from the yard sale lot. Boston's debut album. Next we got some David Bowie with Hunky Dory. And then we've got Ziggy Stardust. Okay. We've got the Cars Greatest Hits. Chicago 2. The Best of Eric Clapton. Nothing to see on the back. We've got London Calling by The Clash. Strange Brew, The Very Best of Cream. Jim Croce, Photographs and Memories, his greatest hits. Crosby, Stills and Nash, their debut album. Then we have a Bob Dylan compilation, which I have yet to listen to. Very best of Bob Dylan. So on to the E's, we begin with the Eagles with Hotel California. I also have Eagles, Their Greatest, the first volume. And then the second volume of Eagles' Greatest Hits. I have a Earth, Wind, and Fire Greatest Hits compilation. And then we go on to my ELO collection, which I think is my biggest collection of CDs. We have No Answer, the debut ELO album. Next, I have El Dorado. Face the Music. A New World Record. Out of the Blue. So this CD is very special to me. This was one of the first CDs I ever had gotten myself. I got this at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I believe, back in 2013. It's seen a lot of use. My favorite album of all time. Next, we've got Discovery. Time. Balance of Power. And then Jeff's most recent album, From Out of Nowhere. So next I've got some ELO compilations. Got ELO's Greatest Hits. Strange Magic. Very interesting CD case on that one. Essential Electric Light Orchestra. The two-disc Essential Electric Light Orchestra. Wembley or Bust. More recent live record. Next we go on to a couple Fleetwood Mac CDs. Fleetwood Mac. Rumors. Next up we have What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. And we got a little bit more Marvin Gaye with his greatest hits. Genesis, Selling England by the Pound. We have another George Harrison here with Cloud 9. Michael Jackson, Thriller. Billy Joel, The Stranger. Billy Joel, Greatest Hits, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And it has both discs in there. Elton John, Madman Across the Water. Then, rounding off this shelf, we have Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. So now we're on the final shelf. We begin with Journey, Greatest Hits. The Best of Kool and the Gang, 1969, 1976. And to reiterate again, these are all the original discs, just in new cases. So Led Zeppelin, Early Days. Lynyrd Skynyrd's Innards. Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. Steve Miller Band, Greatest Hits. Next we have the Moody Blues, Days of Future Past. Neutral Milk Hotel, In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory. Roy Orbison, Mystery Girl. The Partridge Family album. I've yet to listen to that one. Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever. Next we have some Pink Floyd albums. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. I love the digipacks. I think that's what they're called. I prefer those over the jewel cases. Wish You Were Here. The Wall. Pixies, Doolittle. The Police, Every Breath You Take. Elvis Presley, 30 #1 hits. Purple Rain, Prince. Then on to some Queen. Got Night at the Opera. Queen Greatest Hits 1 and 2. Ramones Mania. The Very Best of the Rolling Stones, 1964 to 1971. Romantics, compilation. Paul Simon, Graceland. Sly and the Family Stone's Greatest Hits. Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. Styx, The Grand Illusion. Next we go on some Supertramp albums. Crime of the Century. Crisis, What Crisis? Breakfast in America. The Best of Talking Heads. Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair. U2, The Unforgettable Fire. Village People. The Who, Who's Next? Bad on the Run by Wings. Songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder. Yes, Fragile. And then rounding out the alphabet, the Zombies, Odyssey, and Oracle. So next I put some just basic compilations and then soundtracks. Pure Disco. These were all part of that lot again. Pure Disco 2. And Pure Funk. So that rounds out the compilations. Then next I have a couple soundtrack albums, starting with American Graffiti. Some great 50s and early 60s songs on that one. And then, of course, finishing the collection, Saturday Night Fever. And this was part of that collection. Well, thank you for sticking around and going through my CD collection with me today. If you're new to the channel, please take a look at some of my covers I've done in the past. If you like this sort of content, please let me know. I will put a link in the description for these trays right here. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.